Hey! Welcome back to Kunzy In English. I'm your host, Nasa, and today I want to shake something loose in your mind. Let me ask you this. You've spent months learning English. You've studied the words, you've memorized the rules, but when it's time to speak, your mind goes blank. Your tongue freezes. And all that knowledge, it just vanishes. Sound familiar? You're not broken. You're not alone. And most importantly, you're not stuck. Because in this episode, I'm going to show you how you can go from nervous to natural, from silent to fluent in just 30 days. Yes, 30. Not years, not someday. 30 days. Starting now. Even if you're shy, even if you've tried and failed before, even if you've told yourself, maybe I'll never be good at this, that ends today. So take a deep breath and get ready. This might be the moment everything starts to change. Let's go. The fear that holds you back. Let's be real for a moment. Most English learners don't get stuck because they don't know enough grammar. They don't stop speaking because they're missing vocabulary. They stop because of fear. Fear of making a mistake. Fear of saying the wrong word. Fear of sounding stupid in front of others. Fear that someone will laugh, or worse, correct them in a cold, condescending way. Have you ever felt that? Maybe you wanted to speak in a class, but your heart started racing. Maybe you were about to answer a question and then told yourself, I'll just let someone else talk. Maybe you met a native speaker and instead of practicing, you just smiled, nodded, and stayed quiet. If that's you, you are not alone. In fact, you're part of the majority because the biggest wall between you and fluency is not your English. It's your fear. But let me tell you something powerful. Every fluent speaker you look up to, every confident, smooth, fast English speaker you admire, they started just like you. They once mispronounced vegetable as vegetable. They once said, I am boring instead of I am bored. They once got stuck on a word in the middle of a conversation and wanted to disappear. They weren't born with perfect English. They didn't magically wake up one day with confidence. They built it slowly, painfully, bravely, one moment at a time. And you can too. Because here's the truth. Confidence is not something you have. It's something you practice. Just like learning to ride a bike, you wobble, you fall, you get back up. And over time, you balance. Then you glide. And finally, you fly. Speaking English works the same way. But none of that happens if you don't take the first step. And the first step is simple but powerful. Give yourself permission to speak, even if it's not perfect. Yes, you might say the wrong tense. Yes, your pronunciation might be a little off. Yes, someone might correct you. So what? Mistakes are not a sign of failure. They are proof that you're learning. They're the sounds of growth, the echoes of courage, the raw material of fluency. And the moment you stop waiting to be ready and start speaking anyway, that's when the transformation begins. So today I challenge you. Open your mouth. Speak something. Anything. Even just one sentence. And do it proudly. Not because it's perfect, but because it's yours. Fluency starts not with perfect English, but with the courage to try again and again. You've got this, and I'm with you every step of the way. Why speaking feels so hard. Let's talk about something a lot of learners don't realize. Speaking English is not the same as studying English. It's not a test. It's not about remembering every grammar rule. It's not about getting every sentence right. Speaking is about connection. It's about using your voice to express what's in your heart and mind. It's about communicating, not performing. But here's the problem. Most learners are trained to become test takers, not real-life speakers. Think about it. In school, what did you do? You filled in the blanks. You memorized verb charts. You took grammar quizzes. You studied vocabulary lists. And maybe you were a good student. You got high scores. You passed exams. Your teacher said, "You're doing great." But then one day, you had to speak. In a conversation with a real person. No books, no multiple choice, just you and your voice. And suddenly, your brain froze, your tongue got heavy, and all those grammar rules, gone. Why? Because you trained your memory, but not your mouth. You trained to write answers, not to express ideas. You learned about English, but you didn't live it. It's like this. Imagine reading 10 books about swimming. You understand every technique. You know how to move your arms, how to kick, how to breathe, but you've never touched the water. And then someone pushes you into the pool. Would you swim perfectly? No. You'd panic. You'd splash. You might even sink. Not because you're bad, but because reading about swimming is not swimming. And the same goes for English. You can read books, watch videos, study grammar for years. But if you don't practice speaking, if you don't use your voice, if you don't make sound with your mouth, you'll always feel stuck when it's time to speak. That's why speaking feels so hard, because you haven't trained your speaking muscles yet. Yes, you have speaking muscles. Your mouth, your tongue, your lips, your breath, they all need training. Just like a singer, just like an athlete. But here's the good news. It's never too late to start. You don't need perfect grammar to speak clearly, and you don't need to study for years to speak with confidence. What you need is a new way to learn. You need to speak every day, even just for 5 minutes. You need to listen actively and shadow what you hear. You need to feel the words in your mouth, not just see them on paper. And most importantly, you need to give yourself permission to sound like a learner, because sounding like a learner means you're learning. So remember this, studying builds knowledge, speaking builds fluency. If fluency is your goal, you've got to jump into the water, make mistakes, get wet, and swim your way forward, one sentence at a time. And guess what? You're not alone. NASA and Kunzy in English are here to help you every step of the way. Let's speak English together. Speak like a baby. Yes, really. Let me ask you something strange. What's the smartest way to learn how to speak English? You might think, study more grammar, memorize more vocabulary, take another course. But what if I told you the smartest way to learn English is to copy someone who can't even read, write, or spell? Yes, I'm talking about babies. Think about it. How do babies learn to speak their first language? They don't sit in a classroom. They don't study grammar rules. They don't take notes or do homework. What do? They listen. They repeat. They copy. Over and over, day after day, with no fear, no shame, no judgment. They say things wrong. They mispronounce words. They sound funny. And you know what? Nobody laughs. Nobody stops them. In fact, people get excited. Oh, wow, she said mama. He's learning to talk. Now imagine if adults learn the same way. Imagine if you gave yourself permission to speak like a baby. Not perfect, not polished, just real, natural, alive. That's the secret. That's how real fluency begins. And there's a name for this method. It's called shadowing. Name that thingling. Now you might be thinking, NASA, what's shadowing? Let me explain. Shadowing is when you listen to real English, a conversation, a podcast, a video, and you speak along at the same time. You copy the rhythm, the melody, the feeling. You don't pause to translate. You don't stop to analyze grammar. You just follow. You echo. You shadow. It feels strange at first, like dancing to a song you don't fully know. But that's okay. because your brain is learning in a new, powerful way. You're not just hearing English, you're living it. Your mouth is learning how the sounds feel. Your brain is learning how the words connect. And your confidence is growing without you even noticing. Shadowing is how actors train. It's how singers improve. And it's how you can build your speaking muscle, just like a baby learning to talk. Here's what you can do. Pick something simple, like this podcast. Play a small part. Speak along with me. Do it every day, even just 5 minutes. No pressure, no perfection, just you learning like a child, bravely, naturally, joyfully. Because remember, babies don't wait until they're perfect to speak. They speak to become perfect. And so can you. Let go of fear, let go of rules, start speaking like a baby, and soon you'll speak like a pro. Let's do it together, right here on Kunzy In English. The power of imitation. Here's something powerful. You don't have to create confidence. You can borrow it. Sounds strange, right? But think about this. Have you ever watched someone walk into a room with power and suddenly you felt inspired? Have you ever heard someone speak with clarity and strength and thought, wow, I wish I could sound like that? Well, guess what? You can. And the secret is imitation. Let me explain. When you shadow someone who speaks English fluently, someone who speaks with calm, with power, with natural rhythm, your brain doesn't just hear the words, it copies the music of their voice. It copies the energy, the confidence, the flow. It's like putting on a superhero costume. At first, you feel a little silly. You're pretending. You're imitating, but something magical happens. You start to feel more confident. You start to sound more fluent, and your brain starts to believe, this is me now. I can do this. Because here's the truth. Fluency is not just about words. It's about identity. It's about becoming the kind of person who speaks English with ease. When you imitate someone strong, your body learns how strength feels. When you imitate someone calm, your voice learns how calm sounds. And slowly, that borrowed power becomes yours. Just like actors, just like musicians, just like athletes. They all imitate the greats before they find their own voice. So don't be afraid to copy. Don't be afraid to repeat. Don't be afraid to sound like someone else at first. Because this is how transformation begins. First, you imitate. Then you adapt. Finally, you become. And you're not doing it alone. Right here, with me, with Kunzy In English, we're walking this journey together. So go ahead, find a voice you admire. Speak along with them. Borrow their rhythm, their confidence, their courage. And watch yourself grow into the speaker you were always meant to be. You're not faking it. You're training for it. Your mission this week? All right, superstar, it's time to take action. Not next month, not someday, now. Because the only way to get better at speaking English is to speak. So here's your mission for this week. It's simple, it's powerful, and it will change everything. For the next 5 days, I want you to pick one English video or podcast every day. Just one. And for 10 minutes, that's it. I want you to shadow it. Listen, speak, copy, no translating, no pausing, no thinking too hard, just follow the rhythm, feel the sound. Let your mouth move with the words. Even if you don't understand everything, it's okay. Because fluency doesn't come from knowing every word. It comes from trusting your voice. At first, it might feel strange. You might stumble. You might laugh at yourself. Good. That means you're growing. Every time you do this, your mouth gets a little faster. Your brain gets a little sharper. And your fear, it starts to disappear. By the end of the week, you'll notice something. You'll feel more natural. You'll hear English differently. And when it's your turn to speak, you'll actually speak. Not perfectly, but confidently. Because you're not just learning English, you're living it. So are you ready? 5 days, 10 minutes a day. One small habit that could unlock a new you. I believe in you. Now it's time for you to believe in yourself. Let's go speak some English, my friend. Your future voice is waiting. Remember this, my friend. You don't need to be perfect to speak English. You don't need a perfect accent. You don't need every grammar rule in your head. What you need is the courage to start. Right here, right now. No more waiting. No more fear. No more maybe someday. The words, they're already inside you. All we have to do is set them free. So let's do it. Together. Day by day, step by step. Word by word. This is Nasa from Kunzy In English, and I want you to know, I believe in you. You are stronger than your doubts. You are braver than your fear. And your voice deserves to be heard. Now go out there and speak your heart out. Not perfectly, but powerfully. And hey, if this episode lit a spark in you, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that like button, subscribe for more daily inspiration, and share this episode with someone who needs a little push to start speaking English today, because the world needs more confident voices, and yours is one of them. Let's grow together. Let's speak together. Let's rise together. See you in the next episode. Until then, keep going, keep speaking, keep shining. You've got this.